Greetings, Attorney Derek DeBrosse coming to you from Columbus, Ohio again. Munitions Group, munitionsgroup.com. Please look us up on the web. Go ahead and like us on social media and be sure to click that little bell there on YouTube so you get updates on all of our new videos that we produce. Today's question comes from an unnamed viewer. It looks like it doesn't say where they're from, but the question's pretty straightforward. It says, my partner is a convicted felon. Am I allowed to carry a gun in the car with that felon? The question is really interesting. There's been some case law on this, but the general answer to that question is yes, of course. Your constitutional rights don't end depending on who you're dating or who you're seeing at the time or who you're married to. But you have to be very, very careful, right? The whole issue with possession of a gun by a felon is that very word, possession. That's what's illegal, right? So what is possession? That's defined as dominion to control under the law. Does that person have dominion to control over something? But then we take it a step further in the law. There's something called constructive possession. Think of DEA agents doing a raid on a known drug house. They bust and open the door and there's a known felon underneath the table and there's a bunch of crack cocaine on top of that table. He's not touching it, but it's on top of the table, which is just above his head. Is he or she in possession of that crack cocaine? The law would argue, and likely successfully so, that it is in fact possession because they could prove that that known felon has, or that criminal rather, has the power and the intention to exercise dominion control over that crack cocaine. That's what is known as constructive possession. I'm not touching it, but there's that power of me to touch it and my intent there to touch it. So when we talk about firearms and we talk about felons, are they in actual possession of it, or can they be considered to be in constructive possession of it? And that's relevant, because if my partner and I are living in the same apartment together, and I have firearms just scattered around the house, and I know that my partner is touching those guns, well, I'm aiding and abetting that partner in that crime, and I could be held liable. But if I lock it up in safe, where only I have the key and that partner can't access it, the government would be hard-pressed to prove that my partner had the power and intent to touch that gun, right? To possess that gun, let alone that I was complicit in aiding and abetting that person in doing so. So generally speaking, again, your constitutional rights don't end simply because of who you're dating, but there is a lot of risk with it. At a minimum, you got to keep, access to that firearm away from your known felon partner. My personal opinion is you have to do everything possible to keep a gun out of the house, but I know that can be difficult at times. And remember, if you want specific legal advice, this is not legal advice. I generally never talk about that because, we have a disclaimer on the video, but I want to make this very clear that you should definitely, before relying on anything that's discussed in these videos, please seek actual legal counsel, because each fact pattern makes a lot of difference in the analysis. So with that said, as always, I hope this helped, and be safe out there and carry on. Thank you.